Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited you're here with me for another session of our Women's Empowerment Series. My name is Cindy, you know that, and I am super excited today to be joined by Laura, who is a fully transitioned teacher. Hey, Laura, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today.
I am so beyond excited to have you here. So, you know what it's like to have been on the other side, right? To be wanting to leave the classroom and hope that somebody's going to want to hire you, and how scary that was, and what
Mhm.
it's like to move forward. So tell me what it was like in the beginning, like the decision to leave the classroom, and then to start to go through the job search process. What was that like?
Yeah, so I've been really fortunate to have some great mentors throughout my life and people that trusted me. And my administration, I started out as a gen ed teacher, then special education teacher, and then my administration recognized a lot of skills that I had within my skill set. And I started to do a lot more teacher training. I also have background as an adjunct professor at Notre Dame, and I was being given all these different responsibilities and learning how to do more e-learning type projects and whatnot. And it was really just learning and realizing that I have a skill set that I didn't even know I really had until I was in it. And people were recognizing it, that I realized, hey, I can start to look elsewhere. But it is very scary because the classroom was my home base for so many years. And I was just thinking to myself, well, I'm just a teacher. But then again, to remind myself of these things that people, others have recognized, and being able to recognize it myself was something really important that in the beginning I was just so worried about, and partnering with you, it really helped me.
Oh, thank you. Tell everybody what you're doing now. You have such a cool job. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I'm really lucky. I'm an e-learning developer at Hanover Research, and I'm working on different e-learning modules for internal training. I'm looking at all of the different topics that we can discuss as a team, whether it's DEI work or just, other useful topics within the corporate world, and how to best deliver that in a blended learning format, so both asynchronous and synchronous. So I'm in charge of creating the asynchronous content and thinking critically about assessment format and whatnot. And I have a great team of L&D, or learning and development specialists, that I work with. And yeah, we just get to create things every day together to help make the company better, which is really interesting, creative, and just problem solving, which I love.
It was so amazing. I remember that you were nervous about the transition and if you were going to be able to handle the workload. I know, but our audience doesn't know that you didn't have much paid work experience in this field, right? You've done some of it as a volunteer, you've taken classes, but you didn't have a full instructional design paid position before. And then when I heard you talk right now, you said, I'm in charge of, right? So what happened when you came here? Where you, you know, tell everybody what it was like when you started.
When I started, yeah, I think everyone has the first day jitters, but thanks to our sessions together, we were able to talk things through, and the managing your mornings course and whatnot, and all those things. So that certainly quelled a lot of anxiety. However, it's only human to have a little first day jitters, but I really decided to go for it and just see how it would all pan out, and trust in my, while I didn't have a lot of paid experience, I think through our constant conversations of, look, tell me what you did in this role, and then just highlighting, well, that in fact is e-learning development, or thinking about this or that and the other. And so again, just realizing the skills that I have had for a while, or have been developing for a while, and just trusting in myself and having confidence in myself really helped. And then just being able to put it all together with the training that I've done for e-learning development and the confidence boosting from you really helped my transition be as smooth as possible.
That is awesome. And how does it feel now? What is life like now? I know that you have described it to me in very beautiful words. What is life like?
Yeah, so I think I initially told you like pinch me. I can't believe this. It's just like such a happy moment. And I'm still, riding the dream, feeling great. I work from home virtually with my teammates that are primarily on the East Coast, but they're great. I love having a sense of autonomy and just creative direction, and it's just so wonderful. And my husband also works from home, so when it's time to get up and move and close our rings on our watches, we'll kind of do that together. So it's kind of bringing this other aspects to my life that's I didn't really think about before, that are very nice to have now that I'm in the position that I'm in.
So this has been good for you in so many ways, right? Like you're
Yes.
loving the work, you're working from home, you have a
Mm.
child, you get to have more time with your child. It's great
Yes.
for you and your husband. Right? You're earning more money than you earned before. You're
Yes.
creative. So have all the rings in life been circled as well?
Yeah, it's really great. One of the benefits of working for an East Coast company and living in the West Coast is I work East Coast hours, which I know some people are like, oh, cringe, but I'm an early riser, so it's fine. And then, I log off, I get to log off early and have my afternoon, because I'm on the West Coast side, and then really get to focus my time on my daughter and my family. And yeah, it's just been a really nice way of how everything works out.
That is just so amazing. And it should be so inspiring to all
Yes,
the other transitioning teachers out there who are like, can I do it? What's it going to be like? Will I enjoy it?
right.
Because if you've only known life in the classroom, it's hard to know, am I even going to like what I'm doing when I leave the classroom?
Yes. I think it's very daunting to think of the corporate environment. And to be honest, you kind of think of like the office space or those horrible like office environments, and you're like, oh my gosh, how can I do that? Will I miss my summer? And really I transitioned right into this role. And so I my last day of teaching, and then immediately got to it, hit the ground running. And just having a sense of autonomy and trust and the flexibility of working from home, I feel like I don't miss my summer. And let's be real, teachers work throughout the summers most of the time anyway, tutoring this and that to kind of make up for different uh, income shortages. So being able to have this flexibility and contentment year round, instead of all these short bursts of like, let's get ready for beginning of year, let's get ready for conferences, it's very nice. Not to say that I won't have projects that are, huge deadlines and I'm working a little bit longer or harder on certain days, but it's certainly, you don't get as intense or as frequent of bursts of like deadlines as you do in the teaching world, I would say.
I think that comparison is very helpful for other
Mhm,
transitioning teachers wondering to really understand what the world's going to look like, in the corporate world versus where they are as a teacher.
mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about how it helped you get here. Like
Yes.
where you were when I first met you, and and then how it helped along the way and how we got to this point. So
Yeah,
how many interviews was it for this job? How many interviews?
there
It
were
was like six, right?
yeah, there were quite a there were quite a lot, which is very different from the teaching world. So, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm so lucky to have met you, Cindy. You really helped bring focus and energy to my job search that was very lacking. I think initially I thought, well, I'm a competent, hardworking individual. I can do this. And I was kind of just casting nets out everywhere and not getting a whole lot of responses, or not really, tracking very well. So, one piece of advice that I hear from my parents and others is like, well, when you need help, ask for it and find a professional that knows how to do what you're looking for. And that's where it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. So that's how we got together. And I feel like that first module on just confidence and mindset and realizing you know, that I do have value and worth that I haven't really uh, taken time to reflect on or value, and just changing my mindset about myself as not just being just a teacher. I think a lot of teachers think, oh, I'm just a teacher, how can I make a leap? That was huge. And in my first few meetings with you, my demeanor was different. And I was telling you how stressed I was, and even my husband was like, whoa, so um and it's just night and day difference. And I'm so grateful to you for learning, more about how to structure my LinkedIn profile. I didn't even know certain things, and just tailoring what it means to really tailor your resume to the job description, and being able to make it a good fit, and the ATS system and all of that, things that we don't necessarily think about it, especially as teachers. A lot of us just email the principal directly, like our resume or whoever, and it's very different. And again, just one interview. But I think really working with you, especially for the interview prep and just practicing again and again, my responses, just so I wasn't so nervous or stuttering or having these long, like, awkward pauses, was so helpful.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. And it was amazing to see the transformation. Like you were talking
Hmm.
about how stressed you were in the beginning.
Hmm.
And I remember when you told me that my husband said that, that you got your spark back, your spunk back, because all of
Yes.
a sudden you were feeling excited and optimistic about what was going on instead of being, down and depressed that things weren't working. And
Right.
because it was happening, right? You change a
Yes.
LinkedIn profile and all of a sudden people are contacting you for interviews. You
Hmm.
went to, you went to an online job fair, and you said it was the first time you went to one, and you were the teacher standing out with a solid elevator pitch instead of just
Right.
coming forward and saying, I'm a transitioning teacher,
Yes.
right? So all of a sudden you started to feel better about who you were, and
Hmm.
that changed everything, right?
Yeah. You're like my career therapist.
And your virtual, right? What do I tell
Yeah.
everyone, right? Hand holding, kick you in the butt, your virtual career
Yes,
coach on call.
exactly.
Thank you so incredibly much. I am so excited for you.
Yes.
I know that you messaged me and you let me know what's going on. And I love hearing all these updates about how fantastic your job is. And I know that this new chapter, that this is not the end, but it's just the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the
And
beginning.
you've changed my life, and I'm really grateful.
Thank you so incredibly much.